Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. Today, we got a pretty interesting episode for you guys here today that we want you guys to stick around for. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. And also, before we start, we want to thank all of you that have been supporting us to help us get to this point. We appreciate all of your support. Now, let me get into this show here. Just over the weekend, I believe it was on Saturday, we produced a show reacting to some of the comments that Stephen A. Smith had to make about Kyrie Irving. Now, what was he talking about? As y'all know, ESPN First Take, they work 5 days a week from Monday to Friday, and they were talking about the return of Kyrie Irving to the court this Sunday that just passed to play against the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm sure 100% of you are abreast with this Kyrie Irving situation. However, during that segment, Stephen A. Smith sent out a warning to the media in terms of the type of questions they should be asking Kyrie, given all of the things that have transpired since his original suspension and since this thing really really started. So what we want to do is we want to play Stephen A. Smith's original comments so it gives his video some context, and then we're going to come back and unpack this thing. So take a listen to what Stephen A. Smith had to say here.
It's going to be a lot of media. Guys that are not involved are going to have to answer questions about Kyrie return. And Kyrie is going to have to buy into the system again.
Well, listen, let me say this to you. If I was Kyrie Irving, I wouldn't even do interviews when he comes back this weekend. I'd wait a couple of days before I did any interviews because we know what they're going to ask him about, and it's not going to be basketball. Secondly, and more importantly, people better be careful about what they're asking for, because even though what he did, what he alluded to, he clearly didn't do his homework or made a huge mistake in what link he elected to attach to his Twitter account. At the end of the day, you got a whole bunch of people standing up and saying, excuse me, some of these demands that were placed upon him is a bit excessive. Just for your edification, KP, with everything that's happened with him and Kanye and all of this other stuff, and then ultimately Dave Chappelle with his opening monologue, I am interviewing the CEO of the Anti-Defamation League next week on my podcast, No Mercy. So stay tuned for that one. But I say all of that to say this to you. At the end of the day, Kyrie Irving's got to get on the basketball court because his future is in grave jeopardy from the standpoint that he's just too much of a distraction. He's not played more than 60 games in a season in 7 of his 11 complete seasons in the National Basketball Association. And you've got far too many executives that think he ain't worth the headache. The only way to offset that and to remind them of who you are and what you can bring to the table is to step on the basketball.
So you heard what he had to say. In his advice, he even advised Kyrie Irving that he shouldn't speak to the media for a number of days. But to my surprise, and I think to the surprise of many, Kyrie actually came out on Saturday, and I think he spoke to the Yes Network, if I'm not mistaken, about 20 minutes or so, where he cleared the air. He made his positions crystal clear, right? He apologized once again. He apologized to the groups that he felt threatened or whatever it is. He even apologized to his family. This information is out there. So one would think that it would be over with, but of course not. And that's the reason why I knew that this thing, these 6 steps and all of this nonsense was just not going to work, because there's still people out there that still want their pound of flesh. They still want him to go through, this process all over and until they feel satisfied. What happened? Yesterday, the Brooklyn Nets played against the Memphis Grizzlies in a game in which they were victorious. And of course, Kyrie Irving spoke to the press. And to my absolute surprise, some of these people that were in the room started asking Kyrie Irving questions that would potentially land him in another mess. And let me tell you guys something. When I saw those journalists or whoever they were, asking Kyrie Irving those questions, I was really bothered, and I'll tell you why. Number one, those journalists asking Kyrie Irving those questions, they were not doing it because they didn't understand where Kyrie stood. Why? Because Kyrie Irving has put out multiple statements. He put out a written statement and he put out a verbal statement yesterday. Now, if they didn't know that, that means they didn't do their due diligence, or maybe they went to the park on Saturday, maybe they went to Six Flags. I don't know what they did. He already gave his answers. So I don't understand why you would then ask him questions again to try to get more clarity on a thing he's already given clarification for. What's the new thing that you wanted to ask him? One of them asked him about a group that was outside protesting, and I think they said it was a hate group or something like this. I don't know. An organization said that. I don't know. And they asked Kyrie Irving to comment on that. What the hell does Kyrie have to do with that? Seriously, what does he have to? Did he call them to go outside? If these people stand up on their own volition to go out there and speak, what does that have to do with Kyrie Irving? They're going out there to express their views. What's the issue? Why are you trying to drag him into it? Another guy asked him, I understand that you want to talk about basketball, but I think we should be ask you this question and ask you that question. And this is the reason why so many of us said that this entire thing that they were putting Kyrie Irving through in terms of all of these steps was an absolute waste of time and a total joke. Because after he lost all that money, he went through all that embarrassment and humiliation. He went through all of those 6 steps. At the very end, the guy comes back. The very same day, not even a day goes by, then you have people in the media asking him questions that they know if he answers it in a way that some people don't feel is sufficient or good enough, it will ultimately land him in another mess. That's the only reason they did this. And the question is, why are they doing this? Seriously, why? About a month or so ago, the Brett Favre story broke, that actually had some criminal elements to it. Criminal. Hear what I just said. Criminal elements to it, where people most likely will be going to jail. I want you guys to listen to this very carefully. Criminal cases. And Brett Favre was at the center of it. The thing was looming and looming and looming. This person said this person said that. And then Brett Favre ultimately spoke. He gave his views. Since that day, this has not even been a topic of discussion. Why aren't all of these reporters, why aren't they going to Brett Favre's house, knocking on the door to get more clarification for what he said? And meanwhile, he was actually involved in something that's criminal, according to reports, allegedly. But yet, you want to sit up here and ask this guy questions for a link that he posted that he has since apologized for, that he has since paid the price for. What is going on here? And what it seems like to me is this. There are a group of people out there that are trying to curtail the way people think and talk. And if they don't say things exactly the way that they feel is correct, then they're going to try to crucify him. I thought people are allowed to give their views. I thought you're allowed to have a view. And I thought the other person hearing the view has the right to disagree. You're telling me people can't even have a view on something? Is this what we're doing? Essentially, this entire thing is an argument about a certain a collection of people that disagree with Kyrie Irving's views in terms of the things he said in response to posting a link. There are 2 different matters at play here. The first thing is him posting a link, which created the drama. That's issue number 1. Issue number 2 are the people that have an issue with what Kyrie Irving has said. And it seems to me there needs to be a uniformity in the way that we speak. And where's the freedom of speech in that? Where's the freedom of speech? What's next? What's next? I'm going to say that I don't think LeBron James is the greatest player of all time. I think it's Michael Jordan, and a cluster of people are going to come out there and start petitioning against me. Why is he saying that? And then I have to go, well, no, I don't really think that. I think LeBron is great. What? We're not allowed to have viewpoints anymore? I thought, what happened to our First Amendment rights? Don't they exist? Are you kidding me? A lot of this has had to do with what Kyrie Irving has been saying. That's what a lot of this has to do with. And it's scary. It's very scary. Then we're getting to the point now where anything you're saying can be held against you if a certain constituents of people disagree with you. It's scary. Because to my understanding and to the understanding of many, he paid the price. He lost money for the suspension that he went through. He went through the 6 steps that a lot of people thought was excessive. What other thing is there for him to do? If he says, I don't want to comment on it, isn't it over with? Is Kyrie Irving in court? Hold on. Is Kyrie Irving in court? Is he in court? I thought it's only in court cases and situations where you commit crimes that if you say something after you served your time, then that particular situation can be relitigated. That's what it feels like with this situation here. What's going on? Why are there people that support this? When is it over? And to people like Skip Bayless and others, this is the reason why we didn't take you people seriously. Because you people said that the punishment that he was undergoing was not enough. Skip Bayless said he thought the number of games he should have been suspended should have been double. Should have been 10. Well, Skip, he got suspended for 8. Just to come back and have these jokers asking him questions that can get him in a mess again. So what, Skip? What happens then? If they ask him this question, he didn't respond the way that you respond. What? He goes through the process again? This thing is crazy. What is going on here? What's going on? I don't understand this. So we're not allowed to express our views and answer things. So what's going on? Is Kyrie Irving running for office? He's just a basketball player. That's socially conscious. I don't know what is going on here. I don't understand it. Kyrie didn't commit a crime. He didn't come out of jail just now. And even people that go to jail after they serve after they pay their after they repay their debt to society, they're free. They're free. But these people want to continue this thing. Where are we headed? Where is this going?